Hello again. This video is all about resumes, which you may be familiar with already, especially if you've been applying to career jobs before, but I want to make sure that we'll have a pretty solid foundation moving into our mock interview final exam, and also because resumes are really important in the workplace. Um, it feels like one of those things that we're kind of like, okay, yeah, resume, I know what I'm doing, but it's kind of surprising how many resumes will come in to me that I'm like, oh, no, no, no. So your resume is your chance at making a really good first impression. So I want to make sure that you are prepared to do so. So, um, in front of you, I have two bullet points pulled from resumes. One, worked at McDonald's responsible for food, or managed high volume food orders and maintained accuracy during peak hours. Based off that alone, if that was something you saw on a resume and you're hiring, which one of those would you prefer to hire? The one on the left, worked at McDonald's responsible for food, or the one on the right, managed high volume food orders and maintained accuracy during peak hours? Honestly, I'm probably going to hire the one on the right. I have a little bit of more details. They could handle high volume food orders and they were maintaining accuracy. Yeah, maybe I'm not hiring for a food position, but the fact that, in a stressful peak time when there's a lot of volume coming in, they're maintaining accuracy, that's a good skill. I could use that in any job. Stress and accuracy matters no matter what you're doing. So with our resumes, we want to make sure we're clear and showing what we can do in terms of skills, not just what we did. So, what is the purpose of a resume and what is it supposed to do? Great question. I'm glad you asked. A resume is there to help get you an interview. You should not solely rely on your resume to get you the job. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. But the reality is, the resume is getting you in the door. From there, you then have to sell yourself. It should be showing off your skills, not just the task you did. So if we think back to that last slide, was like handled food orders. Great, love that. But what skills were involved? How can I, as an employer, see how you can transfer over to my job? And it's not my job as the employer to figure that out. It's your job as the person who's interviewing to make that clear for me. That goes back to rhetoric. It goes back to clear and effective communication, because I need someone who can communicate well. And if your attempt at getting a job isn't clear, why would I think that in the job you're going to be clear as well? Because this should be your first best impression. So show me your skills. Also, make sure you explain to me that you can match what the employers are looking for. So that means looking at the job posting and showing your skills in such a way that mimics their language or shows that you have those qualifications. You have the ability to do the task that they are asking of you, not just, hey, I've been in welding or an HVAC or whatever. Like, think about what skills they specifically mentioned, what qualifications, and make sure on your resume you address that directly. So, what do employers care about? Honestly, can you do the job? Are you reliable? And do you have relevant skills? Yes, I want to see maybe that you have some background experience, but if it's an entry level position, that's less important. I just need to know, can you do what I'm hiring you to do? And can I rely on you? Can you really show up day in and day out and do the thing? And do you have relevant skills? So if you're interviewing for a job that you don't have that background experience, that's okay. Show me your skills and what that you have. And then in the interview, you get to elaborate on how that will transfer over and why you are still a good option. So some examples I talked about, like with welding, maybe I need to show that I can be precise. I understand proper safety protocol. I can read a blueprint. HVAC, do I understand the idea of troubleshooting and what that might mean and how to make a diagnostics? If I'm working in the culinary world, do I have good time management? Do I understand food safety? But the reality is time management fits all of those. Precision also fits all of those. Being able to diagnose something also can fit. If I have thinking about culinary, we may not call it diagnosing, but like if I'm trying to make something like a cake or something and it keeps collapsing, I have to be able to figure out why. What ingredient is missing? What have I done that's not working well? And how can I solve that moving forward? So as an employer, I care in your resume about seeing, can you do what I've asked? Are you reliable? And do you have those relevant skills? So when we think about weak and strong bullet points on your resume, I wanted to give you some examples. Weak would be I helped customers, worked on cars, cleaned equipment. Great, good start, but we need to elaborate. So think about that star we talked about. Give me more details. You won't give me everything here, but you can give me some. So instead of just helping customers, I assisted 20 plus customers per shift resolving issues effectively. I have that detail. You're working with 20 people a shift, maybe more. Okay, you can handle that. You're resolving issues efficiently. That tells me your communication's good. You can stay on task. Not only did I work on collars, but I diagnosed and repaired basic automotive issues. Worked on cars could mean anything from changing oils to diagnosing to like repairing engines, right? Give me context. Cleaned equipment. Um, why does that matter? Maybe you're maintaining the equipment to meet safety and cleanliness standards. Okay, that means you know that there are standards and you can meet them. I have nothing in here that would work for this, but let's just pretend like this is my equipment. If it's not well cleaned and maintained, it's no longer safe and I can't use it. So beyond just cleaning the equipment, this improved bullet shows me why I know that. And it's a horrible example because it's my cup and I couldn't give you something real, but there is nothing in my office that we can use for that. But if we think about maybe like a tractor, if it's not regularly cleaned and maintained, it could break down in the field. The blades could be weak, which means I'm not cutting properly. Maybe someone hit a rock and the blade is bent. Well, that's not safe, nor is it efficient, right? Those are the kind of things I need to know that you can handle and think about. So, what's the formula? Great, Ms. Cochran, you told me I need to have strong bullet points. I need to be detailed. I need to show that I can do the things, etc., etc. What does that look like? Great question. There's a simple formula you can use on your resume. So have an action verb so that you did something, what you did, and what the result was. So again, it's taking that star and giving me the AR of it, but just in bullet points. So operated machinery to complete projects accurately on time. I can see your result and what skills came through that. These also can connect to your 90-second pitch that you're preparing to introduce yourself and with your star answers in your interview. Your resume is a brief introduction highlighting yourself that you can then build upon in the interview. It may not be uncommon for someone to look at your resume and say, oh, it says that you did XYZ. Can you elaborate on that? Absolutely. But they're not willing to ask about that maybe for helping customers, but they might be about operating machinery to complete projects accurate time. What kind of machinery did you use? What was your time frame? What kind of level of accuracy did you have? So it just, again, it's all about showcasing yourself. You want this interview, so showcase yourself well. Take the time, put the details in, and really give us that bang. Why should I pick you over the 20 other applicants who want an entry-level automotive technician job? What makes you stand out to me? So I do have a short sample in this slide that I am going to show you. But I have a more elaborate one that I'm also going to show, and you have access to in Blackboard. So just very briefly, this was a section out of the initial resume. They listed their past experience. Great. Worked at a shop, helped customers, did cleaning, fixed things. Okay, I've got my bullets. I can see that there are some skills and tasks you've done. But what shop and what did helping customers look like? What was that cleaning? How often did you do things, fix things? What are you fixing? Right? If we were in person, I'd have you talk through that and point out some things, but I just want to move through so I can show you the longer example. So to improve it, I might say like, here's my past experience as an automotive shop assistant. I assisted customers by identifying basic vehicle issues and directing them to appropriate services. I maintained a clean and organized workspace to meet safety standards. I supported technicians with basic repairs and tool preparation, and I completed tasks efficiently in a fast-paced environment. This isn't in the exact same order, but you can see that improvement is here with these updated bullets. So in Blackboard, you have a copy of this sample. Let me zoom in just a little bit. But what I've done with the help of ChatGPT and another instructor is we created a sample resume. Let me make this clear. You are not to go to ChatGPT and ask it to make you a resume. I just don't have a resume that makes sense for this class. Mine is very education based, and I wanted one that met what English 110 met, workplace applied technologies, right? So that's why I asked it to give me some ideas that maybe I could include. You cannot use ChatGPT to make your resume for this assignment. Okay, Now that I've made that very clear, what you'll notice is I have the person's name, some brief contact information, what their objective is. This objective is in and out. Some resumes will have them, some won't. I'm going to include it because it's better to have more than not. You're going to put your education information. If you took anything in high school that's relevant and you're recently graduated from high school, feel free to list it, but you don't have to. So I've got Central Carolina Community College. I put that they're getting a diploma, but that's currently in progress and their expected completion. As you can see, this was past, like in the past, but that's because at the time when I made this, it was in the future. So if you know that you're going to graduate like in May 2028, May 2027, whatever. Relevant coursework. I didn't list all the course names, but I just covered like, these are things that I have learned about. And then if you've already earned some certificates through your classes, go ahead and list them. Let us see that. Or if you're in the process of finishing one, also great. That lets them know on an industry standard where you're at. I listed some technical skills that entry-level HVAC person might need, and then experience is here. But notice that none of these have to do with HVAC, and that's okay. That goes back to the beginning of this lecture where I was talking about, you can have relevant skills and experience that can transfer over. So again, I gave you some detailed points, where I was at, what the actual position title, where it was, and when I was there. And then I listed some additional strengths that they may want to know about. So what you're going to do for me is you're going to make a resume. It should be one that you could copy, rinse, and repeat and use in the future. While it is not due to me until July 12th, I still want you to be working on this. I want to see a draft. I want to be able to help you. You have this copy in Blackboard. You can use it as a template. Just fill in your information as you go. And remember, use that fake job template I provided you in the final exam folder to like target. So if they specifically mention they want a certain certification and you have it, make sure you list that. Talk about the skills that you have, the experience that you have that fits what that job description offers. If you have questions, let me know, and I'm always happy to help you with your resume.